This group of Ukrainian soldiers was moving forward to clear out Russian dugouts and occupied positions in the area. But what they didn't know was that this mission was about to turn into an intense, face-to-face engagement with Russian forces. As the APC advanced, a Russian drone, already waiting in the area, spotted the APC and began chasing it. The drone struck the vehicle from behind, but the APC absorbed the impact and kept moving forward without stopping. At the same time, the vehicle came under heavy small arms fire from nearby Russian positions. Despite the attack, the APC pushed through the danger zone and reached its designated position. As soon as it stopped, the rear ramp opened, and the Ukrainian soldiers rushed out, spreading into cover and taking up positions around the area. They had successfully reached their objective zone. With the soldiers now on the ground and ready, the real operation began, clearing enemy positions and engaging Russian forces at close range. This footage was provided by the Azov Brigade. Please check out the official Azov Brigade channel to see the original footage and learn more about this operation. The APC dropped the Ukrainian soldiers at the edge of the operation area, and now the mission began. The Ukrainian soldiers moved into the abandoned village and started clearing the area house by house. Every building was treated as a potential threat.
Есть кто живой?
Девятка, здесь. Чисто. Подвал чисто.
They checked doors, windows, and basements, moving carefully and covering each other. To make sure no Russian soldiers were hiding underground, they threw grenades into suspected basements and dugouts, waiting for any movement or response. At first, nothing was found. The area seemed quiet, but the soldiers stayed alert and continued searching deeper into the village. After checking another underground space, they discovered the body of a Russian soldier.
Медицина.
They searched his pockets and documents.
Що це таке? Це не викидав?
And identified him as a member of the Russian 9th Brigade. This discovery confirmed their suspicion that more Russian soldiers could still be hiding nearby. Using the information found on the body, the Ukrainian soldiers quickly reorganized and moved forward, spreading out and heading toward other abandoned houses to continue the clearing operation. The Ukrainian soldiers moved fast and quietly, continuing the operation.
Whoa, есть кто?
Девятка.
To confuse and trap the enemy, they began calling out, pretending to be soldiers from the Russian 9th Brigade, claiming they were there to rescue their comrades.
Заховайся. Іди туди.
This tactic worked to draw the hidden Russians into exposing themselves. They kept searching house by house. throwing grenades into suspected underground spaces and basements. For a while, nothing happened. The area stayed silent. Then, they finally reached a position where several Russian soldiers were hiding, unaware they had already been surrounded.
Выходи. Бросай оружие, выходи.
The Ukrainian soldiers first managed to capture one Russian soldier alive. They ordered him to drop his weapon and come out. He obeyed and identified himself as Shantaram, saying he was from the 9th Brigade, the same unit as the Russian soldier found earlier.
Сколько вас, братух?
He admitted that more soldiers were hiding nearby, possibly spread across different underground positions. After securing him, the Ukrainian soldiers used this information to press forward.
Где еще нас? Где еще? Парни, где? Ты приехал? Это вы?
They called on the others to surrender, again pretending to be friendly forces at first. One by one, Russian soldiers began to come out. Three soldiers surrendered without resistance, raising their hands and dropping their weapons. However, two more were still trapped deeper inside the hiding place. After repeated warnings, the Ukrainian soldiers threw additional grenades to force them out. Finally, the remaining soldiers emerged. They were clearly shaken, young, scared, and one of them was crying. The Ukrainian soldiers treated them correctly and humanely, securing them without harm.
Сколько тебе лет?
With this, the group successfully captured all the Russian soldiers hiding in that position and fully cleared the area.
Сюда.
The captured Russian soldiers were given cigarettes, mainly because some of them were injured and in pain.
Присіли. Присіли. Все нормально.
The Ukrainians explained that smoking could help them calm down and get temporary relief.
Можно сигу взять какую-нибудь?
Там була пачка. Ну ти ж курив. Де ти сигарети брав? Де сигарети брав?
One of the soldiers was very young, barely 19 or 20 years old. He looked scared and confused. When a Ukrainian soldier handed him a cigarette, the young soldier quietly asked what would happen to him next, whether he would be imprisoned, exchanged, or killed.
А ваші, блядь, нас стріляють. Стріляють, в полон не беруть.
The Ukrainian soldier calmly told him that he would not be killed.
Типы, вы в нормальной
He would be taken as a prisoner and could later be exchanged.
Да?
Hearing this, the young soldier looked visibly relieved and thankful, almost as if a huge weight had been lifted off him.
Давай, ти туди.
Another captured soldier then asked what kind of prison they would be sent to. The Ukrainian soldier replied firmly, saying they were Ukrainians, not Russians, and reminded them that Russian forces had killed Ukrainian soldiers, but still, they would not harm prisoners. The Ukrainians then carefully secured the area and confirmed there were 6 Russian soldiers in total. They ordered all of them to drop their weapons and began questioning them what weapons they were using, which brigade they belonged to, and how long they had been deployed. After gathering the information, the Ukrainians tied their hands to prevent any escape, gave them water, and even offered more cigarettes to help ease their stress and pain. Just before moving out, one of the Russian soldiers nervously asked that if they were going to be killed, could they be given 5 minutes to pray?
Ми не будемо
This moment showed the real condition of the Russian army. Very young soldiers, sent to the front lines, afraid and unprepared. The Ukrainian soldiers reassured them again that they would not be killed.
Мужики, так нам мы 2 недели в этой 9-й. Тормах.
The captured soldiers later admitted they had joined the Russian 9th Brigade only about 2 weeks earlier. When they heard the buzzing of drones nearby, they had hidden, fearing an imminent attack.
Пацани, давайте в кут.
В угол туда
В угол.
зайдите, чтобы вас дрон не видел.
Soon after, coordinates were sent, and a Ukrainian APC arrived to extract both the Ukrainian soldiers and the captured Russians. Before we move on to the next assault, just take a moment to hit like and subscribe. It really helps us keep going. And also, you can show your support to us by giving a super thanks. Now back to the battlefield. The evacuation was carried out quickly and safely. The Russian soldiers did not resist, and the mission ended without further fighting. However, as the Ukrainians noted, this mission was relatively easy. In later operations, resistance would be much heavier, and many Russian soldiers who chose to fight would not survive. This footage was provided by the 3rd Army Brigade. Please check out the official channel to see the original footage and learn more about this operation.
Роботу виконано. 1-200, другий.
The operation began when a group of 5 Ukrainian soldiers reached their designated position and prepared for the attack. Their objective was clear: dugouts where Russian soldiers were hiding.
Пацани, якщо бачимо бліндаж і бачимо одіяло, не стріляємо. Перший стоїть, прострелює, а другий одіяло відкриває і кидає. Поняв? Отака хуйня должна бути.
Швидше проходимо.
Because the area around them was open terrain, they were warned to move quickly and avoid staying exposed for too long. As they advanced, Ukrainian drone operators were watching everything from above, guiding the soldiers step by step.
Есть блиндаж, зачистить надо.
Кидай!
The drones provided real-time updates, warned them of possible threats,
Доповідь, дай доповідь, що у вас по обстановці?
and monitored for any incoming Russian FPV drones or surprise attacks. With this support, the soldiers reached their target and the operation officially began.
Орієнтовно, скільки там було?
Ну, 2 видно, точно 2 руки, як
Пацани, попереду 2
The Ukrainian soldiers started clearing the dugouts by throwing grenades into the enemy positions.
І ми працюємо. Зараз я пекачу виставлю, їм подкину пару пачок сімок, як прийняв.
Граната!
In one of the dugouts, a grenade exploded and eliminated 2 Russian soldiers hiding inside. Throughout the attack, drone operators continued to scan the area, checking for movement and keeping the soldiers informed from a safe support position. During the operation, one Ukrainian soldier spotted a Russian FPV drone flying overhead. He reacted quickly and fired several shots, successfully shooting the drone down before it could strike.
От. Пошла.
То все, парні, економні по БК давайте, щоб його вистачило ще на місці, куди ви прийдете.
After this, the soldiers were reminded to conserve their ammunition, as they could still face enemy forces ahead. With caution and coordination, they continued securing the area and preparing for the next phase of the mission.
Друже, ми зачистили останній бліндаж, там було терпів, ми їх завалили.
Законтролили, але в них нічого не виявлено. Ні паспортів, ні телефонів, зовсім нічого.
Все, плюс красавці, парні.
As the Ukrainian soldiers moved forward, Russian forces noticed their presence, and intense firing immediately began. During the exchange, one Ukrainian soldier was hit in the hand and the injury was severe.
По каске попав.
Despite the chaos, the unit reacted quickly. The wounded soldier was ordered to lie down and stop fighting as he was in too much pain to continue. The rest of the team moved in to provide first aid while also giving him cover. Even under constant Russian fire, they continued returning fire to keep the enemy pinned down.
Да.
Парні, і розсосіться так, щоб у вас був візуальний контакт. Не сидіть один біля одного.
Что надо здесь? Не, это с руки, братан. Точно? Да, с руки, нема крови, там даже дырки на штанах нету. А, здесь.
As the situation started to get out of control and the firing intensified, the soldiers called for support from the basement command post.
Друже, нам потрібна допомога. У нас контакт, там дві пеки працює, ми лежимо в началі посадки. Від начала посадки плюс-мінус 70 метрів, друже. Там окопка і бліндаж, вони пи***ють нас, сука.
Братух, ми спостерігаємо за тією ситуацією. Зараз туди будемо працювати. І працювати будемо туди серйозно.
The response was immediate. Drone operators confirmed the enemy's position, and mortar fire was authorized.
Все, зараз ловимо, зараз питаємося її словити.
The first mortar round landed directly on the Russian firing point.
Нас знімає скрита камера.
A second round followed, also striking accurately.
Вогонь!
After a few more rounds, Russian positions were visibly hit, forcing the enemy fire to stop. While the mortar strike was ongoing, Ukrainian soldiers continued treating the wounded soldier.
О, смотри, блиндаж оголили.
Вот, все, парні, бачимо їх орієнтовно, де вони. Зараз дорабатуємо, як прийняли.
Плюс прийняли.
Once the area was suppressed, they carefully advanced to check the Russian positions. Several Russian soldiers were found dead near the impact zone, while others farther away had also been neutralized by the mortar fire. The injured Ukrainian soldier was then evacuated back to a nearby basement. There, he received proper medical treatment so he could recover.
Венку буде поставити.
Яку венку? Це катетер такий?
Ні,
Meanwhile, the rest of the unit continued moving forward to clear remaining Russian dugouts. After throwing another grenade, they found abandoned Russian equipment and luggage, but no bodies. This confirmed their suspicion that some Russian soldiers might still be hiding deeper inside the dugout, beyond the reach of the initial blast. As one Ukrainian soldier carefully entered the dugout, he finally confirmed the enemy's position. Inside, he spotted 2 Russian soldiers and immediately ordered them to surrender.
Вилазь, сука! Сколько вас?
Сдаюсь!
Вилазь! Вилазь! Дай гранату! Сколько вас? Сколько вас? Алло!
The Russians said there were only 2 of them.
Чё, сука, сдаваться не захотели?
They were visibly shaken and began crying.
Дай гранату!
An honest reminder of the reality of the battlefield. The Ukrainian soldier stayed calm and firm. He told them to put their weapons down first and assured them that if they surrendered, they would not be harmed. He clearly promised them safety.
Вылазьте, либо граната, Иван. Валила в легкую, мы выходим. Выхожу. Выходи, даю слово.
Оружие стоять! Оружие вперед!
Руки, вот руки.
Оружие выкидывай!
Хорошо, командир, выкидываю.
Стоять! Ой!
Все, понял. Наоборот. И он здесь перед...
Выкидывай оружие, выкинь вперед! Магазин выкинь!
One by one, he secured their weapons and then asked if they had a radio. He took their radio as well.
Герой. 2 автомата!
Да, больше нету. Можно я смотрю его, а?
Подожди. Рацию сюда, быстро! Рацию свою сюда!
Белка!
А!
Since the dugout was extremely narrow and dangerous to stay in, the Ukrainian soldier then helped both Russian soldiers climb out of the dugout and instructed them to move with their hands on their heads.
Мне. Сколько? 40.
Ты целый?
Целый?
Тебя не...
Нет. Давай, вылазь.
Вылазь и иди за ним.
Сюда. Давай. Пошел.
As they exited, they passed the bodies of their comrades who had been killed earlier during the mortar strike. 3 Russian soldiers were lying dead nearby. Those were killed by mortar firing a few moments earlier, including one who had been involved in the earlier close-range fight where a Ukrainian soldier was wounded in the head. By this time, the sun was going down. Ukrainian forces secured the area and waited until nightfall for the evacuation team to arrive. The position was fully cleared, the dugouts neutralized, and the area brought under control. In total, several Russian soldiers were eliminated, while 2 were captured alive. These prisoners were later taken for processing and could be used in future exchanges. Before we even go deeper, keep this in mind. What you're about to see is not the most intense part. What's coming next is even worse. Another battle, another village, where more than 23 Russian soldiers were lost, and Ukraine paid a heavy price too. That story is coming up right after this. One of the most important things we are seeing on the battlefield right now is who Russia is sending to the front lines. Many of the soldiers captured or eliminated in these village operations are very young, often between 19 and 25 years old.
Двоє ще. Один в підвалі, один.
These are not veteran units. These are young men with limited training, rushed preparation, and very little real combat experience. When a country starts relying heavily on young, undertrained troops for frontline combat, it usually signals a deeper problem. It means experienced units have already been exhausted, rotated out, or lost. In military history, this is often a sign that a force is struggling to sustain the war at the same intensity as before. Reports from the ground show that many of these soldiers receive only weeks of training, sometimes even less, before being sent directly into active combat zones. That gap becomes obvious the moment they face coordinated assaults, drones, and close-quarters clearing operations. This is why, in earlier phases, we saw quick surrenders. These soldiers simply were not prepared for what they encountered. In terms of numbers, Russia still has hundreds of thousands of troops on paper, but numbers alone don't win battles. In this conflict alone, over 2,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in this sector of fighting, with many more wounded or captured. Ukrainian forces have captured thousands of Russian soldiers overall since the war began, and each capture tells a bigger story about morale, logistics, and battlefield reality. This brings us to an important question. Why does Ukraine often choose to capture soldiers instead of eliminating them, even in dangerous situations? First, captured soldiers are valuable sources of intelligence, unit structure, supply routes, command weaknesses. Second, capturing enemy troops reduces the risk of prolonged firefights, which protects Ukrainian soldiers. And third, surrender spreads faster than fear. When one unit surrenders, nearby units hear about it. Morale drops, resistance weakens. Sometimes, capturing a few soldiers can collapse an entire defensive pocket without firing another shot. After battles like this, repopulating these areas becomes extremely dangerous. Thousands of mines, unexploded shells, rockets, and missiles remain buried in the ground. Some of these devices cannot even be detected by standard mine detectors. On top of that, there are destroyed buildings, contaminated land, and the remains of fallen soldiers from both sides. Even if the infrastructure is rebuilt, the land itself remains unsafe for years. This makes post-war recovery incredibly difficult. Governments face massive costs. Civilians face constant risk. Some areas may never fully recover or be repopulated again. And this is exactly why the next video matters, because what you're about to see next is even more intense. A brutal comeback battle where Russia lost 23 soldiers, Ukraine lost 7, and the fighting reached its breaking point. The tension, the chaos, and the decisions made in those moments show just how unforgiving this war has become. That video is on your screen right now. Watch it. Because what comes next is scarier than anything you've seen so far.